الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على محمد وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم. Allah Azza wa Jal says in Surah Isra about parents and our responsibilities towards them in the following verses. وَقَضَى رَبُّكَ أَلَّا تَعْبُدُوا إِلَّا إِيَّاهُ وَبِالْوَالِدَيْنِ إِحْسَانًا إِمَّا يَبْلُغَنَّ عِندَكَ الْكِبَرَ أَحَدُهُمَا أَوْ كِلَاهُمَا فَلَا تَقُل لَّهُمَا أُفٍّ وَلَا تَنْهَرْهُمَا وَقُل لَّهُمَا قَوْلًا كَرِيمًا. And your Lord has decreed that you worship none except Allah, and be good to your parents, whether one is or both of them reach the old age. While with you, say not a word of contempt such as uff, and do not repel them, but speak to them with noble words. وَاخْفِضْ لَهُمَا جَنَاحَ الذُّلِّ مِنَ الرَّحْمَةِ وَقُلْ رَبِّ ارْحَمْهُمَا كَمَا رَبَّيَانِي صَغِيرًا. And lower the wings of humility out of mercy and say, my Lord, have mercy upon them as they brought me up when I was small. رَبُّكُمْ أَعْلَمُ بِمَا فِي نُفُوسِكُمْ إِن تَكُونُوا صَالِحِينَ فَإِنَّهُ كَانَ لِلْأَوَّابِينَ غَفُورًا. Your Lord is most knowing of what is within yourself. If you should be righteous in intention, then indeed He is ever too often returning to Him for forgiving. My brothers and sisters, simple lessons here. In these 3 verses, there are 7 ways we can honor our parents. Whether you're old or young, it doesn't matter. Parents are Parents are so unique that you cannot replace your parents. You know, when you're angry with your wife or your husband, you can be upset with them. Even you can divorce them if it doesn't work. But you can never divorce your parents. You can never abandon your parents. You can never forsake your parents. You can never find a second copy of your parents. Parents come in one copy, only one. Once they've passed away, you realize the importance of it. Now, I look at myself. Before my father passed away, I never understood what it meant to be called the yatim. Now I look at myself and I think I'm yatim. My father passed away not that long ago. If my mother passes away soon, I'll be completely yatim because I'll have no mother, no father. And yet, many of us don't understand the value of our parents while they're alive. We often think, parents, I can take advantage of them. Wallahi, my brothers and sisters, you can't. For Allah says, وَقَضَى رَبُّكَ أَلَّا تَعْبُدُوا إِلَّا إِيَّاهُ وَبِالْوَالِدَيْنِ إِحْسَانًا. Allah orders you to only worship Allah, none but Allah. After worshipping Allah, be good to your parents. There are no other injunctions in the Quran like this. There are no other orders like this in the Quran where Allah says, be good to anybody after being good to Allah, except your parents. Has Allah given parents such an elevated status? Yes, Allah has. And the reason why Allah has given them an elevated status is because they deserve it. It's because they are worthy of your elevated status. Because they gave birth to you. They brought you up, especially mothers. Wallahi, my brothers and sisters, the value of our mothers, you will never, ever appreciate until you have your own children. When my first was born, my daughter was born, I remember holding my daughter in my hand, and my mother walked into the hospital. I looked at her, and I said to my mother, my mom, did I give you so much pain when I came on this earth? She smiled at me, and I said, I'm really, really sorry, Mom. If I had given you so much pain as my wife has gone through to give birth to our first child, I'm really sorry. My mother said something very interesting. She goes to me, it's okay, my son, don't worry. But let me ask you a few questions. Question number 1, where is your wife right now? I said, Mom, she's in front of you. She's in the hospital. She goes, yes, she's in the hospital. But when you were born, my son, I was not in the hospital. I was giving birth to you in the middle of a jungle. Then she said to me, what are the doctors and midwives? I said, they're around. She said, how many? I said, I don't know, but at least 5. My mother said, nobody was around to help me give birth to you. Nobody. Not a single human being was around. Then she said to me, how long was your wife in labor for? I said, 5 hours, 6 hours, maybe a bit longer. She said to me, my son, I was in labor with you for 3 long days. It was 1971 in Bangladesh, in the middle of the war between Bangladesh and Pakistan. And that war meant my mother had to be taken out of her home and be taken into a village, into a small hut in the middle of the jungle so that nobody would find her, because army had surrounded the village. Bombs were going on in different directions. Guns were blazing. And she was told not to make a single whimper when I was being born. I cried even more. And I apologized to my wife for doing anything wrong to her, for I realized the pain our mothers go through. Or even one contraction of our mother, one contraction she has gone through. Us men, or women for that matter, will never be able to pay our mothers back. For one contraction, my brothers and sisters. So be kind and be careful with your parents. Never dishonor them. Never look down upon them. Never scoff them. Allah Azza wa Jalla says, وَلَا تَقُلْ لَهُمَا أُفٍّ. Don't even say words of contempt. Uff. against them. We do out of frustration and anger. We start arguing with our parents without realizing, in fact, our argument, in fact, could earn us sin. Our arguments could earn us sin. I ask Allah to forgive me for I've argued with my father a lot. And I ask Allah that He forgives me for doing that. And I realize when my children argue back at me, how I feel, and how my father must have felt when I argued back with him. My brothers and sisters, parents are unique. Don't disobey them. Don't dishonor them. Don't be disloyal to them. Unless your parents tell you to do something against Allah and His Prophet Muhammad ﷺ, even then don't argue with them. Walk away and disobey them if you must, outside their eyes and outside their reach, so that they don't get upset and offended by it. Now Allah Azza wa Jalla says, do not repel them, but speak noble words with them. Speak words, qawlan karima, words of compassion, words of mercy, words that will overwhelm them with love and affection, and lower the wings of mercy. وَاخْفِضْ لَهُمَا جَنَاحَ الذُّلِّ مِنَ الرَّحْمَةِ. Wings of mercy. Have you ever seen a bird with its chicks in the little chicken, a mother chicken walking around with its chicks? Try and attack the chicks and see what happens. She will ferociously fight you. But the first thing she will do, she will spread her wings over the babies, bring them under her and protect them. Allah is using the same metaphor with us. Spread the wings of mercy over your parents, wings of protection, wings of compassion, wings of tolerance, wings of acceptance. When my father was very unwell towards the last days of his life, he was suffering from dementia. He was 93. My mother would call me to say, come, I need your help. Come and hold your dad while I clean him. One day I went to pick him up, and my father punched me on my face, banged on my face. I fell on the ground, knocked out. He doesn't know what he's doing because he's suffering from dementia. My brothers and sisters, the urge inside you to respond is overwhelming. But you bite your tongue and say, Ya Allah, he is my father. For what he has done, he doesn't know. You will get to that stage one day yourself. I will get to that stage one day myself. That I will not know what I'm doing. If my son and my daughter do not spread the wings of mercy and compassion over me, I will be gone too. My brothers and sisters, not only do you spread the wings of mercy and compassion over them, be with them. Don't abandon them in their old age in a care home. Don't abandon them by themselves in a home by themselves so that they spend nights and nights alone. Loneliness can kill them. My brothers and sisters, Allah Azza wa Jalla says, and say, رَبِّ ارْحَمْهُمَا كَمَا رَبَّيَانِي صَغِيرًا. Ya Allah, be merciful to my parents, just like they were merciful to me when I was little. When I had no other language except cry. When they changed my nappy. When my nose was running, they cleaned me. When I was crying, they cleaned me. When I fell down, they picked me up. They did everything possible so that I would be the man I am, the woman I am. But I've forgotten my parents. My brothers and sisters, Allah Azza wa Jalla warns you and I that on the day of judgment, Allah will tell you what you've done. And Allah will tell your parents what you've done, and Allah will judge between the two of you. But on this earth, respect them, honor them, protect them, love them. For when they've gone, it's too late. May Allah enable us to love our parents. May Allah enable all of us to honor our parents. May Allah enable all of us to be good to our parents. And may Allah forgive us for our discourteous, unkind and dispassionate behavior towards our parents. وآخر دعوانا أن الحمد لله رب العالمين والسلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.